These are the work, but they are the medium of that. All the work is the different, and the language medium is the Hindi, Gujarati, English. But the creation of novel writing, the techniques of novel used by the message delivered by the novel is are the same one, and that's why if the reader should read all the ancient and modern work of all the writer, all the ages, he should easily criticize or make the criticism of the work of art, because the modern writer of the work, we have to require the reference of the past work, reference of the old works, from through which he can judge the work. And then if he read the modern work, if he just read the classical great work, but the time change, for example, Noam Bickel in 18th century, that time they used epistolary or series of letter or the plain narrative or direct method. But in the modern time, in 1922, the year of their Jeff Joyce and Rizia would publish their works, they use the technique stream of consciousness thought, consciousness, and this is a new technique. So that's why the writer should read both the ancient and modern work, which helpful to him to judge. It is helpful to him to judge a work of art of any writer, because he know about that both the classicals values of the classical works, as well as requirement or necessity of the modern one. In the sense, a good critic should have idle reader. He should read both the quality of works. Further, a critic, or we can see or here we have to write down the critic should have a fair knowledge of human life. Literature is poetry, is a reflection, or poetry is a criticism of life. Who said? According to Matthew Arnold, my dear friend, poetry is the reflection of life. Poetry holds mirror up to the nature. You remember that word, my dear friend? You have to study in semester 1 quality of good literature. Here, poetry is the criticism of life. Poetry holds mirror up to nature, according to Matthew Arnold. Here we also remember R.J. Rees, my dear friend. Literature expresses and communicates thought, feelings, attitude, thoughts, feelings, emotion, and attitude towards life. So here the life is the center of all the literature. So that if a literature is born, grow, and developed from life and through life and in life, in the same literature, you can say that literature moves around the life. So if literature moves around the life, a person who make or who write down or who make a commentary or who makes a criticize of that work of art, which is based on the life, he should have the fair knowledge, saru, sundare, deep knowledge of human life. You can also use the fair in the sense, deep knowledge of human life, because he know about not the outward, just here we remember the stream of consciousness. He know about the psychoanalytic theory of Sigmund Freud and William James. He know about the psychoanalytic theory, human nature very well. He has fair knowledge of the field of psychology also. Because whenever he analyzes the character of the writer, why the character do this kind of why the writer, why the poet, or why any other artist created this kind of the theme. He built up this kind of the plot, this kind of the theme, or this kind of the character or art of characterization. because he know about the human nature level. He is not only the master of the literature, but he also has a good command over the psychology of the human nature. He has a good command of the human nature. Then he can analysis the human nature. Here we can say or to write down that, as we can mention, we have seen the artist is seeking him to agree. Life is like this and life is like that. Whenever the artist created the work of art here, the artist said that life is like this, life is like that. But the critic may say, no, starting where you start, you must be like this or you like that, and never to say you have shown. Critics say that a writer must have to say that when he starts that life is this, and when he ends, he proves that life is that. Here we also mention the T.S. Eliot, great poet of 20th century. The consciousness present is as awareness of the past. Critics must have about the whatever the change in the human nature. In the sense, we can conclude that a critic should have a deep knowledge of human nature, because he have to analysis, or we can see that he has interwoven. Those are the characteristics of, we can say that, any literary work of art interwoven by the critic whenever he has a good command over the human nature. Okay, then the third one, critic should have a, we can consider a fair command over the language. A critic should have the fair command, or we can say a critic should have a deep command over the language. Language is a medium. Language is a weapon. How you use the language. If you smartly use the language, you please the person. If you brutally use the language, you kill the person. You know about the beauty of the language, my dear friends. If you use motivate speech, so you can emphasize or energetic, or we can say that strengthening a fallen down person. You can impose the power on the human if you use the language, the motivated language. Hey, વીર ઉઠ અને તું તારા લક્ષ્યને પહોંચો. હે અર્જુન, તું ઉઠ અને તારા લક્ષ્યને પ્રાપ્તિ સુધી પહોંચ. This kind of motivated language. I can do it. Shiv Khare. I feel better than before. Sanjay Rao. These are the motivated speech. He can powerful the man. If destructive language, default the person. Here, that's why a critic should have the good command over the language, because my dear friend, good command over the language, he can use, yes, craftsmanship. Remember, my dear friend, good quality of literature, technical skill or craftsmanship means use the right word in the right place. Use the proper words in a proper place. A critic should write down the commentary on the work of art. If he cannot write down just like creative writer, because criticism is a science. We can use that word in a, my dear friend, in a function of literature. Discuss about critic. Criticism is a science. A science that requires the value of the words. H2O, I mentioned you that equation of the water, H2O. We can say that, or you can say the oxygen and the hydrogen together is equal to become the water. In the same sense, is the proper equation or property of the word, proportion of the word, and therefore it is possible when a person has a good command over the language. A good command over the language, a person can use a proper command. Sometimes use the proper word in the proper language. In few words, says many things directly, effectively, and point to be point. For example, it is like a beauty lies in the eyes of beholder. One sentence written by John Peace. To err is human and to forgive is divine. Written by, yes, Alexander Pope. These are the quoted word, a proper word in proper, but it is possible when you revise and revise. And a good command over the language, a proper word in a proper place. In the same way, a critic should have a good command over the language. Then it is possible that you can use the effective criticism or effective notes on any work of art. Then a critic, okay, we can discuss the at top of the question. A critic should either reader or well-read man. A critic should have deep or fair knowledge of human nature. Critic should have deep or fair knowledge of fair command over the language. First one, critic should have biographical knowledge of the writer. Biographical. You understand when you came the semester 6 in paper 9. Literary criticism and theory. There is a relation between literature and biography. One of the topic you will study, and the name of the topic is literature, and in Unit 1 you study the literature and biography. Okay, biographical knowledge. So dear friend, before that we understand what is biography. You heard the word autobiography. The autobiography of Mahatma Gandhi, entitled The Story of My Experiment with Truth, Mara Satyana Prayogo. It is an autobiography because written by the Gandhiji, but he has written by someone else, but as directed by a person. It is called the autobiography. I myself write down my life. Biography means a story of person's lives or lives. વ્યક્તિના જીવનની કથા એટલે એને કહેવાય બાયોગ્રાફી. આત્મકથા એટલે કે પોતાના જીવનનું વૃત્તાંત. અને બાયોગ્રાફી એટલે કોઈ વ્યક્તિ દ્વારા લખાયેલું હોય, બીજા વ્યક્તિ દ્વારા માહિતી એકત્રિત કરીને લખાયેલું. Other person who can collected the documentation and authentic proofs just like birth certificate, education certificate, and interview diaries in work of art. And on this base of these sources, a person write down the narration, or you can description of portrayal of narration, description or portrayal of some persons